In this episode, I resurrect a movie from 2019 from the dead. Its name? Dr. Sleep. The sequel to the all-time horror classic The Shining. Now, when this movie came out, Dr. Sleep that is, the world slept on this movie and sang it a not-so-sweet lullaby at the box office. And this was before anyone could scream, "It was because COVID was gonna kill everybody." Well, speaking of death, let's do an autopsy on Dr. Sleep as we continue our Whorehouse series on Movies Merica.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey there, my movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Welcome to this episode of Movies Merica, a whorehouse edition of Movies Merica. Since we are in October, we are in Halloween month, and I, as always, am your humble host, Van Ebert, okay? And, or maybe I should call myself like the Crypt Keeper, you know, like, welcome, kiddies, to this edition of Movies Merica. Okay, now I'm just freaking myself out doing that bad impression. That being said, a whorehouse edition of Movies Merica, okay? And the movie that I'll be going over will be Dr. Sleep, like I've already said, okay? So if you want to hear more in this spoiler-free review, I should mention, of Dr. Sleep, then come on in, relax, ease your mind, okay? And as always, I'm just going to give out like a brief synopsis of Dr. Sleep, as I always do.
Let's go, I'm bored, let's go.
With all the movies I spoiler-free review. And so, like I said before, this is the sequel to the horror classic The Shining. And as you remember in The Shining, there's the little boy, Danny Torrance, and him and his mother, Wendy, escaped from the Overlook Hotel, escaped from Jack Nicholson's Jack Torrance character. If we're thinking about the Stanley Kubrick Shining movie, not the miniseries. And so we pick up a little bit after the events of the Overlook Hotel, a little bit after the events of The Shining. And Danny and his mother, they've moved to Florida, and it's said in the movie that, well, the reason they did that is because they never wanted to see snow ever again in their life, okay? Understandably, right? And so you see Danny, and you see he's still seeing visions of ghosts and that kind of thing because of his ability to shine. And the shine is like this psychic, telepathic ability where you can communicate with other people without saying a word. You can like communicate to them, you know, with your mind, of course. And then if you're powerful enough, you can see events, you know, in the future, events in the past that you know where you were never there, that kind of thing. And so that's the shining ability, the shining. And so some people have it a lot more than others. Danny just happens to be somebody who really has a high level of shining ability. And so because of this, he is attractive to ghosts, okay? And they're attracted to him because of his shine and like to feed off the shine. And so since he's going through all this stuff as a kid, we see him grow up, and then we see Ewan McGregor play Danny as an adult. And Ewan McGregor is, he's not having a real good life because he's jacked up from the events of his childhood, and he's just not living a good life. He's basically at the bottom. Okay, he's hit rock bottom, and that's where we meet his adult character. It's not pretty. Okay. So again, Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Train Spotting and Black Hawk Down. Okay, he plays the adult Danny Torrance in his 40s, and then he is a girl that actually can shine as well, and they portray it as she can shine better than Danny. Her name is Abra, and she's played by Kyliegh Curran, and she reaches out to Danny telepathically through the mind, okay? And they find each other, or she finds him. They kind of join forces against this group called the True Knot, okay? And the True Knot, they're the bad guys, okay, or the main bad guys in this movie. They're a group, and they're led by a character named Rose the Hat, and she is played by Rebecca Ferguson. And she is the main antagonist, the main baddie in this movie. And so the story goes where Danny is told that, hey, this girl has caught the attention of the Tie Knot group. In the Tie Knot group, they seek out children who have the shine, okay? So, and this group, the Tie Knot, they're like these telepathic vampires where they don't need blood to survive. They need what they call the shine. Well, they call it steam, and steam is the fear and the pain that you get when you hurt or murder a child, right? Okay, and they're looking for people where if you injure them, if you maim them, and you instill fear and pain in them, they'll produce the most steam, okay? And so that's what this group does. They're just these vampires of sorts, and they just go around the U.S. and hunt for children that have that can produce the most steam, okay? Well, Danny, Ewan McGregor's character, learns that this group has been notified, or not notified, but they noticed this Abra, this little girl, and so in order to pay back the debt that he owes for being saved in the first movie by Dick Halloran, and I know there's a lot to follow. If you watch the movie, it's much clearer. But so Dick Halloran, the black cook, basically the best way I can describe him, from the first movie, played by Scatman Crothers, he helped out Danny, remember, with his shining ability and that kind of thing. And so Danny owes him a debt. Well, in order to repay the debt, his debt is to help this girl evade this group that basically wants to kill her, okay, for her steam. And that's really where this movie starts and the basis of it and that kind of thing. And there's so much more to this movie, but in an entertaining way, okay? But yeah, like I said before, we're going to do a full autopsy on Dr. Sleep. Don't worry, we're going to get really, really into it, and you're going to be glad we do, okay, because this is a good movie. All right, but before I get too far down the road, let me ask you to follow or subscribe to this channel right here, okay? It takes you just 1 minute to do it. And then while you're down there anyway, hit that like button real quick. And then hit the notification bell if you haven't already, so that you get notified of brand new episodes of Movies Merica. All right, hey, let's move on with this Whorehouse series episode going over Dr. Sleep. Let's move on. This is the best I've seen from Ewan McGregor since The Impossible. Now, in that movie, he played a distraught dad that is just trying to save his wife, or help his wife save themselves and their kids from the aftermath of a tsunami. Now, in Dr. Sleep, he's first trying to rescue himself and then later Abra. Now, he needs saving because your dad trying to chop you and your mom up into little pieces with an axe when you're a kid will tend to mess you up a smidge, all right? Not to mention how his shining ability causes him to see the ghosts from the Overlook Hotel visit him still, and they are apparently trying to feed off of him still, okay, feed off of his shine. And now, I got to say, Ewan McGregor, the way he performs the character arc of Dan Torrance, changing from a cowardly, selfish drunk to the charitable, courageous, sober Dan is absolutely flawless. He's got great paternal chemistry with Abra, and they turn out to be a very, very formidable foe to the True Knot, shining WWE tag team, if you will. There's Abra off the top of the turnbuckle. Ooh, direct hit. Man, I don't think Rose the Hat is going to walk away from that. Watching Dr. Sleep is better if you've seen The Shining, obviously, right? When you see the adult Dan drinking and drugging and fighting just to make the thoughts of what happened at the Overlook Hotel when he was a kid go away, you can empathize with him because you also know what happened. To be honest, part of me was like, Dan, you down those shots. You snort that blow. You've earned it. However, we learn of another big reason that he's doing all of that too, and it's a fantastic, poignant scene when it's revealed. Another reason it's best to have seen The Shining is the inclusion of the ghosts from the Overlook Hotel in this. They won't mean much otherwise. Their souls are still trapped in the hotel, but they can still travel wherever Dan goes to try to feed off his shine. As long as that hotel is still standing, like it is at the end of the movie version of The Shining, for those ghosts, it's haunting season, and they're hungry. Now, this show is spoiler-free, but the show this Thursday night called Movies Merica Spoiler Warning is going to be all spoilery, okay? I'm going to spoil you rotten, okay? And this show that comes on Thursdays comes on at 7 p.m. Eastern, so that's 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and then 4 Pacific, okay? And that is just a show where you get a chance to discuss this movie in depth, spoilers and all, and you can live chat with me, comments, questions, whatever, okay? And the live chat doesn't even have to be about this movie. It can be whatever you want. So, but the live chat will be, about this movie primarily, okay? So, and because this show is meant for those folks like me who, after most movies they watch, sometimes they want to have a more detailed discussion, and you're hard-pressed looking around for somebody to have that detailed discussion about this movie with.
Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me?
Okay? So, meet me, Van Ebert. I'm your guy for that detailed discussion on the show, Movies Merica Spoiler Warning. Again, this Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, and that's 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 Central, or 6 Central, 6 Central, 5 Mountain Time, okay? And how do you join this show? Well, all you got to do is on Thursday, you can go to my @MoviesMerica page on Twitter or X, and you can click on the link for the Movies Merica Spoiler Warning show right there, or you can go to YouTube or Rumble. That's where the show's at. And you can look up Movies Merica. Now, if you look up Movies Merica on Rumble, it'll work just fine. It'll bring you right to my page on Thursday, and you just got to click on the link for Movies Merica Spoiler Warning. Easy peasy, okay? Now, YouTube's kind of stupid. YouTube's kind of dumb, okay? And so when you type in Movies Merica, it's gonna think you're trying to search for Movies America. Nope, wrong-o, okay? So what you have to do is right underneath where you typed in Movies Merica, you have to click on this little blurb that says search instead for Movies Merica. Click on that, and then that'll take you to the Movies Merica page, okay? Also, you might have to type in Till Death Podcast Network. That's another way to search in YouTube for the Movies Merica Spoiler Warning Show. All right. Hey, enough about that. I hope to see you this Thursday night. Let's get on with the show. The villains that are new with the sequel are called the True Knot, and they can be best described, like I said before, as psychic vampires who feed off the fear and pain of children, which slows down their aging so that they live for centuries. They call that fear and pain steam, and they're always on the hunt for it because they need it like vampires need blood. Rebecca Ferguson's Rose the Hat character leads this group since she has the greatest psychic power. Ferguson skillfully portrays her as a beautiful yet malevolent and murderous monster. Believe me, she is quite the opposite of her Ilsa Faust character from the Mission Impossible movies. She's actually really, to be perfectly honest, an even bigger reason to watch this movie than the Ewan McGregor character of Danny Torrance or Dan Torrance.
Wow.
Then there's her second in command. There's Rose the Hat's second in command / lover, Crow Daddy, who specializes in tracking down children with the most steam for the group to acquire. The last member that I'll mention in the group is Grandpa Flick, and he is the oldest member of the group, and you learn that this guy is so old, he's been around since the Roman frickin' Empire. I mean, that's how old this guy is, and this movie takes place in the present day as far as what I'm talking about here in this movie. Now, getting back to the steam, how they acquire it once they get their hands on the children is the stuff of nightmares. It's incredible. They travel all over the U.S. searching for children with the most steam, and that's how Abra and later Dan cross paths with the True Knot, and the battle between Dan and Abra and the True Knot.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Is epic. Okay, everybody. Hey, if you would, just go ahead and subscribe and follow this channel, and then hit the like button down below, and then the notification bell as well, so you get notifications of brand new episodes of Movies Merica. And those buttons are just right down there. It takes you like 2 seconds to click them. If you would, I appreciate it. And then get in that comment section down below as well. And comment to me. That'd be fantastic. I want to hear from you. And then also get to tdpn.locals.com. That's our website with all our great Till Death Podcast Network content. And right now, if you go there and put in promo code TDPN, as in Till Death Podcast Network, you get a free month of access to all the great stuff that's on tdpn.locals.com. All right, with that, let's move on with the show. And now, some random thoughts. Dr. Sleep is based on a book that's a sequel to another Stephen King book and is also based on a movie that was based on a Stephen King book and is the sequel to that movie. Everybody got that? Fun fact time, kiddies! There is a baseball game scene in this, and the character of the dad that's bragging up his baseball player's son up in the bleachers, that dad character is played by none other than the actor Danny Lloyd, who played young Danny in the very first Shining. And he only had one more role after his Shining role, and then he retired. So this is his first gig since 1982. Another fun fact that only movie geeks like myself will really give a rip about is how they have Bruce Greenwood's character's office made up to look like the same office that Jack Nicholson's caretaker job interview in The Shining was held in. The little subtle shout-outs to The Shining are the best shout-outs. Now, I also do like how they use look-alike actors to play the characters that we already know from The Shining, like Alexandra Essos played Dan's mother, Wendy, and then Carl Lumbly plays Dick Halloran, the character made famous by the late, great Scatman Crothers from the Shining. And ironically enough, Dick Halloran, since Ewan McGregor played this character also, is Dan's Obi-Wan Kenobi, really. Thank God they didn't use that weak sauce de-aging technology. Dodged a bullet there. Yes, my ghouls and goblins, it is brew review time. And it's time for you to meet the brew for the review. All right, so give me one moment here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. All right, here we go. So let me introduce you to Founders Dirty Bastard out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yes, it's the good stuff. It's a Scottish ale, and it is quite tasty. Now, Founders markets this as so good, it's almost wrong. Well, like the legendary Luther Ingram used to sing, or kind of like he used to sing, if drinking this beer is wrong, I don't want to be right. And so this beer, it has like 7 different varieties of imported malts, and it's got like this like smoke flavor, a hint of smoke flavor, and a hint of peat flavor, and it's just got a good malty richness in it. And it just feels right, like I said before, to drink a beer called Dirty Bastard in Halloween month, doesn't it? Just sounds right. Okay, let me get that up there so you guys can see, okay? And yes, 8.5% ABV, so alcohol by volume. So it's got a little bit of a punch to it. But yeah, get yourself some Founders Dirty Bastard. And you could probably find this where you're at, unless you live like in a one stoplight town or something like that. This is not some obscure basement beer or something like that, okay? So, but yeah, you know what? I'm done yapping about it. I'm going to take a little drink off this. Yes. So, again, that is, let me get that up there again so you can see it. That is some Founders Dirty Bastard. Yes. All right. Hey, let's get on with the show. Is this a woke after-school special? Well, as you would expect with a movie called Dr. Sleep, no, it is not woke. Next! All right, everybody. Hey, since you're doing me a solid by sticking around this long, let me do you a solid by letting you know all about Nature Clear Recovery Powder. Nature Clear Recovery Powder, it is just a powder that helps you avoid a hangover or helps you recover from a hangover, whichever the case may be. And it's very simple to use, okay? You just take this packet right here, and you just pour it in 12 ounces of water or a bottle of water, your typical bottle of water. Pour it in there, and you just drink it before you head out to the nightclubs. You know, to shake your booty or hit the beer patio, okay? And now, if you're out and about, and you're like on your 15th beer, and you're like, oh my God, I forgot to take my Nature Clear. What an idiot. Hey, you know what? Take it easy on yourself, okay? Just take it when you get home, all right? And you're good to go, okay? It's almost like Nature Clear was pre-planning for this stuff, okay? They're geniuses. What can I say? And it also helps you recover from smoking and vaping as well. So this is an all-around Swiss Army knife of recovery, okay? So right now, what you should be thinking is, Van, how do I get my hands on Nature Clear Recovery Powder? Well, I will tell you. All you got to do is click on the Nature Clear description down in the link in the description. There we go. And just click on that. And just pick out whatever Nature Clear products you want, get them in the cart. And then in the promo code field, you type in the promo code MOVIES, okay? And you're going to get up to 25% off your next Nature Clear order. Very sweet, right? Very sweet right there. Sorry, beer burp there. Hazards of the trade. But yeah, get yourself some Nature Clear, all right? Do it. All right, on with the show. In Dr. Sleep, there is fan service or member berries, and some of them are annoying, but most of them are used to serve and legitimately serve the story, I should say. The most fan service you see involves the Overlook Hotel. What they show is imperative for fleshing out the tear in the story. It ties many things together, but mostly what it does, it just gives you a highly potent case of the heebie-jeebies. Ugh. Given what we know about Stephen King now, I feel dirty quoting him, but he does make a good point for once. When he says that to have true terror, you need to have love and family as part of the story. I think what he means is you have to develop the characters and make sure that you understand the love that they have for each other so you feel connected to them. So that when there is danger, okay, it's terrifying not just for them, but it's terrifying for you because you feel connected to the characters because they've been fleshed out. Dr. Sleep fully accomplishes this with Dan talking about the love that he has for his mother, the love that Dan and Abra clearly have for each other here after a while in this movie. And weirdly enough, this movie even portrays the members of the True Knot loving each other and being absolutely terrified when something bad happens to a member of their murderous family. All right, everybody. Hey, let me take a minute to tell you all about a new feature on the tdpn.locals.com website, and that is my Movies Merica Mad Libs. So you guys remember Mad Libs when you were a kid? You know, you get the Mad Libs pad with all the paragraphs. You can fill in the words. And if you were like me, you filled in like raunchy words in with the Mad Libs. Well, now we have the Movies Merica Mad Libs, and you can only get that on tdpn.locals.com. So what do you have to do to get to the Movies Merica Mad Libs? Well, of course, go to tdpn.locals.com. and just read over the 3 characters that I've created for Movies Merica Mad Libs, and then also read over like the first few lines that I've written. And where you come in is just like in Mad Libs back in the day, you get to contribute creatively, okay? And what you do is for each of the 3 characters, you just have to add lines to the Movies Merica Mad Libs script, okay? So I have started you out with the first few lines to give you a little flavor of what the script is all about. And then for each of the characters, you just have to write a line for each character. 1 line per character, please. But you can write as many lines as you want. Go nuts. It's just you have to write at least 1 line per character. And then me and Ian and Sean, the other 2 here as part of the Unholy Trinity in the Till Death Podcast Network, we'll look over the submissions, okay? And then we will read whatever you write live, okay, on this show. We're going to do a live table read where we read what you write, okay? And you can tune in and you can laugh your butt off. Even one of the characters is a woman. So, you know, one of us is going to have to, get in drag, I guess. All right, so that's Movies Merica Mad Libs. And get there now. And now for the final conflict. For my final thoughts in this movie review during the Horror House series of Movies Merica. And as you could tell, I would definitely check out this movie, okay? Check it out. I mean, it's a travesty what happened to it when it was actually in theaters in 2019 and how people just sat around with their thumb up their butts instead of actually going to see this movie, okay? But another thing I'll mention as I wrap up this review is Dr. Sleep has some of the coolest and creepiest visual effects I've seen in a horror movie in a long time. It has the best portrayal I've seen of like traveling through, by the mind or via the mind, like through psychic behavior in order to attack somebody through their mind. Okay, the visual effects journey that they portray in this movie is just fantastic and very creepy. Now, Dr. Sleep, again, which is a sequel to The Shining, made a little over $14 million back in 2019 in its opening weekend. Now, the colossal turd that is The Exorcist Believer that just came out here as of the recording of this episode made almost $26.5 million in its opening weekend. So the sequel to the classic The Shining, which is a much better movie, only made $14.4 million in its opening weekend, and the dog turd called The Exorcist Believer made $26.5 million. Oh, come on! And this is after the COVID pandemic. It's unforgivable, people. Unforgivable, okay? That's the movie-going public dropping a colossal turd, okay? Now, if you haven't seen Dr. Sleep yet, correct that mistake and watch it right now, okay? And so just so you can go do that, I'm going to wrap this up. But as always, people, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the po-po. They're coming after me. And I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here, too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.